Among the Luo, where you're buried matters more than almost anything else in death. And who digs your grave and when is governed by rules that most people outside this culture have never heard of. In the Luo, digging is called Kunyo, and the grave is always dug at night. Not during the day, at night. While the community holds vigil above the ground, a selected group of men work below, opening the earth to receive the one who has gone. But not just any man could dig. Men whose wives were pregnant were not allowed to participate in grave digging. The belief was that the spiritual weight of death could harm an unborn child. A man carrying that responsibility at home, the responsibility of new life coming, was excused from this task. Twins were also not allowed to dig the grave. Twins hold a special and delicate spiritual status in Luo culture. Their involvement in the burial process could disrupt the spiritual balance that the burial needed to maintain. These restrictions were not suggestions. They were rules that protected both the living and the dead. The Luo do not bury their dead in public graveyards. They bury them at home, inside the homestead, in the compound where the person lived, ate, raised their children, and worked every day of their life. This is one of the most distinctive and deeply meaningful aspects of Luo burial culture. The dead do not leave the family. They stay. The grave becomes part of the homestead, visible, present, honored. Children grew up knowing where their grandparents were buried. They pass the graves every day. The dead and the living share the same ground, the same air, the same home. This is not morbid to the Luo. It is natural. It is right. It is how the relationship between the living and the dead is maintained. The position of the grave inside the homestead is not random. It is determined by who the person was. A man is buried to the left of his first wife's house, facing the entrance. His position in death mirrors his position in life, central to the homestead, connected to the woman who was its spiritual anchor. A woman is buried to the left of her own house. An adult man is buried in his war regalia, the traditional attire and weapons of a Luo warrior. He goes into the earth dressed as he lived, as a man of his community, ready for whatever comes next. A chief's burial carries additional ceremony and distinctions that we will cover when we discuss the different categories of death. What happens when a person dies far from home? When they drown and the body is not recovered? When they die in the bush and are never found? The Luo had an answer for these too. A banana stem was used in place of the body. The stem, shaped and sized like a human form, was buried in the place where the body would have gone. The full burial ceremony was conducted. The grave was dug. The rituals were performed. Because for the Luo, the ceremony was not just for the body, it was for the spirit, and the spirit needed a proper homecoming, whether or not the physical remains could be brought back. When the burial was complete, a rooster was slaughtered and eaten. This was not simply a meal. The rooster marked the formal end of the burial process. It was a communal act, shared by those who had dug, those who had buried, and those who had witnessed, and it carried a meaning that the Luo understood deeply. The rooster was the last act of that chapter. The burial was done, the homestead had received its dead, and life with all its grief had to continue. A grave inside the homestead is not a reminder of death. It is a reminder that those who came before are still here, still present, still part of the family. In our next episode, not all deaths are the same. A young person, an old person, a twin, a chief, a woman who never bore children. Each death carries its own rules, its own ceremonies, and its own number of days. This is Echoes of the Luo. Erokamano.